Are you sleeping poorly without realizing it? And could that be quietly harming your memory? Today I want to show you how you can start protecting your brain by improving your sleep, without medications, without supplements, and without spending money. It may sound simple, but this is one of the most common mistakes I see in my practice every single day. There is a large study involving more than 300,000 people that found something concerning. Those with the worst sleep habits had a significantly higher risk of developing memory problems over time. And when it came to certain types linked to blood flow in the brain, that risk was even higher. This is why we need to take sleep far more seriously than we usually do. In this video, I'm going to explain why good sleep is so deeply connected to your memory, what those harmful nighttime habits really look like, the early warning signs that can appear with age, and most importantly, what you can start doing today to fix it. I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm Dr. Gabriel Mena, and for years I worked irregular night shifts. I clearly remember how my own sleep became disrupted, how I started feeling mentally slower and constantly tired, and how I had to make important changes to regain clarity. I see the same pattern in many of my patients. Not long ago, I saw a 62-year-old man who told me, "Doctor, I've always slept very little, but I've gotten used to it." He was sleeping 5 hours a night, waking up exhausted, and assuming it was normal. But when we improved his sleep, not only did his energy return, his memory and focus improved as well. That's when you realize that getting used to something doesn't mean it's not affecting you. To understand why this happens, you need to know something important. When you sleep, your brain does not switch off. In fact, this is when it performs some of its most critical work, tasks it simply cannot do during the day. Throughout the day, your brain produces waste, harmful proteins, metabolic debris, and substances it no longer needs. If these are not cleared properly, they begin to accumulate and can gradually interfere with normal brain function. This is where a specialized system comes in. Think of it as your brain's cleaning crew. It activates during sleep, opening channels that flush out these accumulated wastes. And here's the key point. This process happens primarily during deep sleep, the stage where your body and mind truly recover. So what happens if you don't sleep enough, or your sleep is too light? That cleaning system never finishes its job. It's like leaving your house half cleaned every day. Over time, that buildup starts to affect the brain structure. These substances can eventually form deposits that interfere with communication between brain cells. And this doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, silent process that can take years to show symptoms. But by the time they appear, the damage has often been developing for decades. That's why taking action early is so important, while you still have time to prevent it. Now, let's talk about what this large study actually found. Researchers followed over 300,000 adults aged 50 and older who had no memory issues at the start. Over time, thousands developed cognitive problems. The most striking finding was this: people with the poorest overall sleep quality, considering multiple factors together, had a much higher risk compared to those who slept well. And here's a key detail: it wasn't just about how many hours they slept. It was about the full picture. It matters how long you sleep, but also when you go to bed, whether you wake up during the night, if you snore, if you feel sleepy during the day, or if you rely on naps. Everything adds up. Other studies have shown something even more striking. People with poor sleep had brains that appeared older than their actual age on medical scans. As if poor sleep was quietly accelerating brain aging without you noticing. So what does poor sleep really mean? Think of it like a score. Sleeping 7 to 9 hours, going to bed at a reasonable time, having no insomnia, not snoring, not feeling exhausted during the day, and waking up refreshed, each of these gives you points. But when several of these start to slip, you move into a risk zone. And the important part is this: you don't have to be at the worst level to be affected. Even moderate sleep problems already show an impact. So ask yourself honestly, are you sleeping enough? Do you wake up truly refreshed? Do you struggle to fall asleep? Do you wake up multiple times at night? Do you need naps just to function? Do you snore regularly? Each of these factors matters. And together, they may be affecting your brain more than you realize. When you look at real-life examples, it becomes clearer. The person who sleeps 5 or 6 hours and thinks they've adapted, the one who lies awake for hours with a racing mind, The one who wakes up in the middle of the night and can't fall back asleep, or the one who unintentionally falls asleep on the couch but then can't sleep properly later. There are also people who work irregular schedules for years, completely disrupting their natural rhythm, or those who use alcohol to fall asleep, without realizing that while it may help them doze off, it significantly reduces sleep quality and prevents proper brain recovery. That's why something very common happens. You can sleep many hours and still wake up feeling unrefreshed. Because it's not just about quantity, it's quality that truly protects your brain. If this topic is making you reflect, I invite you to subscribe and share this video with someone close to you. Many people are going through this without realizing it, and this information could make a real difference in their lives. There is also long-term research spanning over 2 decades showing that people in their 50s and 60s who slept 6 hours or less per night had a significantly higher risk of developing memory problems later in life compared to those who slept at least 7 hours. And if you think about it, many people today live exactly like this, sleeping too little and assuming it doesn't matter. Here's something important I want you to remember. The stage of life you are in right now matters deeply. What you do in your 50s or 60s doesn't stay there. Often, the damage begins silently and only shows up decades later. What seems small today can become decisive tomorrow. That's why recognizing early signs is so important, especially the ones that are rarely discussed. Most people think memory problems appear suddenly and obviously. But they don't. In the beginning, the changes are subtle and easy to dismiss. In your 50s, you might struggle to find a word during a conversation, even though you know it well. You might walk into a room and forget why you went there. Tasks that used to be simple, like planning a trip, may require more mental effort. In your 60s, these changes may become more noticeable, repeating questions without realizing it, getting slightly confused on familiar routes, or having more difficulty managing finances or remembering payments. The key difference is that normal aging causes occasional lapses that don't disrupt daily life, while early decline becomes more frequent and persistent. Mood changes are also often overlooked. Becoming more irritable, more anxious, or more withdrawn can be early signs. Many people attribute this to stress, but sometimes it reflects the brain starting to struggle. If you notice these signs in yourself or someone close to you, don't ignore them. It doesn't necessarily mean something serious is already happening, but it is a reason to take action and review your habits, especially your sleep. I want to share another case that stayed with me. A 58-year-old patient came in worried about becoming more forgetful. It wasn't severe, but it was consistent. When we reviewed her routine, we found she had been sleeping poorly for years, waking up multiple times and never feeling rested. As we improved her sleep, her memory issues noticeably decreased. That shows the real impact of something as simple as sleep. Now let me speak to you personally again. For many years, I worked irregular shifts, especially at night. My schedule constantly changed, and my sleep became completely disorganized. I reached a point where I couldn't sleep when I needed to and would fall asleep unintentionally at the wrong times. Like many people, I tried quick fixes, but they didn't solve the real problem. It wasn't just about sleeping less, it was about losing my body's natural rhythm. Even though I could stay alert at work, my personal life began to suffer. This is the reality for many people. They function at work, but at home they feel the toll. And over time, that imbalance has consequences. There came a point when, after reviewing the long-term evidence on poor sleep, I knew I had to make changes. It wasn't easy, and I understand that not everyone can change their work schedule overnight. But it's important to recognize that chronic poor sleep has real consequences. If you have the opportunity to create a more stable routine, it's worth taking seriously. Moving from irregular sleep to consistent rest, getting 7 to 8 hours, can make a massive difference in your long-term health. At the same time, I want to be realistic. Not everyone can make drastic changes. If that's your case, then it becomes even more important to optimize everything else about your sleep. And here's something that might surprise you. Many health recommendations, like changing your diet or starting exercise, require adding something new. But better sleep doesn't mean starting from scratch. It means improving something you already do every day. If you're sleeping 6 hours, going to 7 isn't building a new habit, it's extending one. And often, that difference is just 1 hour. That extra hour can come from going to bed earlier, putting your phone away, or reducing distractions that keep you awake. For many people, the real barrier isn't time, it's habits. Of course, some situations are more complex. Insomnia, anxiety, caregiving responsibilities, demanding jobs. Those are real challenges and require specific strategies. But many people could sleep better with small, consistent adjustments. If I had to start with one single change, it would be this: your wake-up time. Everything in your sleep depends on it. More than focusing on when you go to bed, what matters most is waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This is the anchor of your internal clock. It's not about sleeping whenever you can, but about training your body to follow a consistent rhythm. Avoid hitting snooze. Avoid sleeping in some days and not others. Consistency is the foundation of good sleep. When you establish that routine, everything else begins to fall into place naturally. Choose a fixed wake-up time, 6:30, 7, or 8 a.m., whatever fits your life, and protect it. When you do this, your brain builds natural sleep pressure throughout the day, helping you fall asleep more easily at night. Within a few weeks, you'll start feeling sleepy earlier without forcing it. But if you keep changing your wake-up time, especially sleeping in on weekends, you create a kind of mini jet lag multiple times a week. And then you wonder why your sleep never feels stable. Another powerful habit is what you do in the first 30 minutes after waking. Getting outside and exposing yourself to natural daylight for at least 10 minutes is one of the most effective free tools for improving sleep. It's not enough to sit by a window. You need to step outside, breathe fresh air, and let natural light reach your eyes, even on cloudy days. This helps reset your internal clock and improves your entire sleep cycle. Let's also talk about caffeine. Many people consume it too late without realizing its impact. Caffeine blocks your brain's natural sleep signal. Even if you fall asleep, it reduces deep sleep quality. A coffee in the afternoon can still affect your sleep at night. That's why it's best to avoid caffeine after midday or early afternoon. If you enjoy the ritual, switch to decaf and keep the habit without the hidden cost. Your sleep environment also matters. Your body needs to cool down slightly to enter deep sleep. A cooler room, around 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, supports better rest. Reducing light is also essential, using blackout curtains or even a sleep mask if needed. And here's a change that can transform your sleep: remove your phone from the bedroom. Not just because of the screen, but because its presence keeps your mind alert. Charging it outside the room removes the temptation and helps your brain truly switch off. I remember a 65-year-old patient who couldn't stop using his phone at night. He would fall asleep watching videos or messages. I suggested a simple change: charge it in another room. 1 week later, he told me, "Doctor, I'm sleeping like I used to." Small changes can lead to powerful results. Alcohol is another key factor. Many believe it helps with sleep, but it actually disrupts it. It may help you fall asleep faster, but it fragments deep sleep and leaves you less rested. Reducing or avoiding alcohol before bed can significantly improve sleep within weeks. Exercise matters too, but timing is crucial. Intense workouts right before bed can overstimulate your body. Morning or afternoon exercise is far more beneficial, especially outdoors, where it also enhances light exposure. Finally, stress plays a major role. A simple technique that works well is taking a few minutes before bed to write down your thoughts, tasks, worries, ideas. Getting them out of your mind and onto paper can relieve the mental load that keeps you awake. And one last important point: if you snore loudly, wake up tired despite sleeping enough, have frequent headaches, or feel sleepy during the day, you may have an undiagnosed sleep-related breathing issue. It's important to get evaluated because it's treatable and can dramatically improve your quality of life. I want you to remember this: sleep is not wasted time. It is one of the most active and essential processes your brain needs to stay healthy. The evidence is clear: chronic poor sleep increases the risk of memory problems and other serious conditions. The good news is that this is something you can control. Unlike age or genetics, your sleep habits can be improved. And most of these changes cost nothing. They just require awareness and consistency. Your brain cleans and repairs itself every night. But how well it does that depends entirely on how you sleep. If this content helped you, I warmly invite you to subscribe, turn on notifications, share this video, and leave a comment. We publish new videos every day to help you take care of your health in a simple and practical way. And before you go, I'd like to invite you to do something meaningful. Take a moment to be grateful to God for your life, your body, and the opportunity to learn how to care for your health. True well-being begins with that awareness and gratitude. Here on Dr. Gabriel Mena's channel, we are committed to helping you improve your habits and your well-being. Tomorrow we'll have a new video created just for you, clear, practical, and valuable. I look forward to seeing you there as we continue this journey together toward better health.